That's almost an 85% reduction in the price of their stock. All right, welcome to Talking Investing. I am Tom. This is not financial advice. We are here to talk about all things investing, and today I want to talk to you about the highly controversial Bit Digital, stock ticker BTBT. This is a Bitcoin mining company, and there has been a massive amount of controversy surrounding this company with very little clarity. I did a video on these guys maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. You can check that out, and I went through the history of what's been going on. I'll give a brief history here today just to get you up to speed. The reason I'm making this video today is July 13th, 2021, and Bit Digital put out a press release today, which I think sheds some light onto what's going on. First, a quick background. A short report was put out in January, and I'm just going to read a couple of highlights from that. On January 11th, 2021, analyst J Capital Research published a report alleging that Bit Digital operates, quote, a fake cryptocurrency business that is designed to steal funds from investors. J Capital alleged that the Bitcoin business BTBT discloses is completely fraudulent. So this report says their business was completely fraudulent. So quick recap, since then, they have had their auditors come in and do an audit of the December 31st financial statements. The auditors issued an audit report. They have filed their annual filing with the SEC. According to that report and their auditors, they did not find any fraud. The market did not seem to believe that. There's still a lot of doubt going on. Subsequent to that, while everybody's debating whether or not their machines in China are real, China turned off their Bitcoin mining operations as a country. So that's what we're going to get into in the press release. So I think that is going to ultimately lead to an answer to the question of what their business is, although we're not quite there yet. We'll go through this briefing and talk about what it means. Okay, Bit Digital announces Bitcoin production and mining operations update for the second quarter 2021. This is dated June 13th, 2021. They show by quarter the number of Bitcoin that they say they've mined. 1,013 in Q1 of 2021, and now suddenly Q2, we're down to 562 Bitcoin mined. They talk about why that happened, why the reduction in Bitcoin mining, and as you might imagine, it has everything to do with the operation shutting down in China. So, but they still say they mined 562 Bitcoin in the second quarter of 2021, which is actually quite a bit. 70.8% of our miner fleet by hash rate was already deployed in transit to or awaiting installation in North America at June 30th, 2021. Following regulatory changes in China, the company suspended mining operations there effective June 21st, 2021, accelerating its migration program to North America. Okay, so this is in management's commentary at the December 31st report. Going forward, we expect a growing portion of our fleet to be in North America. Well, I don't know if they had any idea, but going forward, it's all going to be in North America because they've shut down in China subsequently. At the end of the first quarter, they said this. This was with their quarterly reporting for Q1 of 2021, so a few months ago. So in this report, they say, further, we have continued our globalization strategy, deploying additional miners in North America, where as of April 29th, 2021, we owned 8,516 miners, with a further 2,130 miners currently in transit or awaiting installation. Going forward, we intend to expand our presence in North America and expect a growing portion of our fleet to be located here. If we look at their miner geographic distribution as of April 29th, 2021, 76% of their miners were in China at that time. 35,000 miners. They had a total of 45,000 miners. So the two numbers I want to focus on are the United States, 7,090 miners, Canada, 1,426 miners. That is as of April 29th. Now, I want to go to the press release they just put out. I'm going to jump ahead. Miner geographic distribution as of June 30th, 2021. The United States, 7,090. Canada, 1,426. Those are the exact same numbers. So it's almost 2 months later, and the numbers that they're reporting in the United States and Canada, which is their North American operations, remains the same. However, this top line, in transit to or awaiting installation in the U.S., 14,500 miners. That leaves them with 9,484 miners. They have said they have shut down operations in China and they're doing no mining. So part of the bad news is, there was a short report put out that their mining operations in China were fake, fraudulent, made up, and based on world events, we may never know the answer to that because now China has shut down Bitcoin mining, and whether they had mining there or not, now we know they don't have any mining there because nobody has any mining there. So they say that they're in transit. They further go on to say that they're all going to be installed in the U.S. in the third quarter of 2021, which is, we are currently in the third quarter of 2021. So in the next 60 to 75 days, they're saying they're going to have all these installed in North America. So they have a couple of partners, one in Texas and one in Canada, that they already have hosting some machines. And from what I could dig into, it seems like they have solid relationships with those partners. We have to wait and see what happens with those machines. So when they report their Q3, we would expect to see these numbers in the United States and Canada change dramatically. Those 14,500 should all be installed, and those should be integrated into the United States numbers and the Canada numbers. If that happens, they will have accomplished what they've talked about. And in addition to that, they've talked about purchasing new machines on top of this. So I think at the end of the second quarter, they have 588 Bitcoin. That's about $20 million in value as we speak here today. And obviously that will change with the changing price of Bitcoin. They do have cash. They have the ability to continue operations, and it would appear they have a lot of miners. Now, I don't want to dig too deep. If you do the math, this totals 32,500. They said they had 45,000 miners at the end of the first quarter. They did say they sold a bunch of miners, made like $5 million, which they intended to invest in new miners. I can't find a way to reconcile one to the other, so there is a little bit of mystery here with these numbers. But that aside, I don't think that that's the important part. I think we now know there will be no more mining in China. So they say that they have 32,500 miners left. Let's go back to the report, and I just want to show you a few more things real quickly. The company owned 32,500 miners as of June 30th. Now, we just looked at that, and we saw where those were. We saw that 14,500 of those were in transit or awaiting installation. That's a hash rate of 1.92 exahash. Following the recent announcement of the Chinese government's decision to ban Bitcoin mining, the company immediately suspended its remaining operations in mainland China, effective June 21st, 2021. So that was the heart of the press release. It's actually a very major update. I actually think it's good news in that it's providing a pathway to clarity. Now, that does not sound like the greatest news of all time, but there was so much FUD surrounding this company, with the short report saying that they were completely fraudulent, and with all of the hysteria regarding the Chinese government changing their philosophy on Bitcoin and them having to shut down all their Bitcoin mining operations. Now, like I said, this takes a big issue off the table for this company. There was a giant question as to whether their operations over there were even real. So, they put out an audit report. They said they were real, but obviously investors weren't necessarily buying it, because when we look at the chart, you're going to see their stock is down drastically. That takes that issue off the table. So anytime you can move towards certainty, it's actually a very positive thing for a stock. So we're getting some clarity. They have 14,500 machines in transit. We need to see those put in place. If they're put in place in North America, they've identified their partner in Texas that they deal with and their partner in Canada. So there should be no more question as to whether or not or how many machines they actually have and what their hash rate is. So they claim they're still close to 2 exahash, which is gigantic. So that puts them at a similar hash rate to the very biggest North American miners. Riot and Marathon are in that 2 exahash range. Bitfarms and Hut 8 are progressing towards that. Now, all of those companies have a much stronger balance sheet and a much better path to get from the 2 exahash-ish that they're currently at to 5 or 6 or 7, or in Marathon's case, they're looking to get to 10.37 exahash. So the future may be a little more bright for those companies, because really what's happened to Bit Digital is this year they have had no ability to raise capital because of this giant cloud that looms over their heads. So moving to North America, getting their machines up and running, I think is going to give some clarity. If we look at the chart, this was their high on January 4th of this year, January 4th, 2021. So from their high to their low, that's almost an 85% reduction in the price of their stock. That leaves 15% of the value left. Was 15% of their company real? Was more than 15% of their company real? It would appear that they've created new relationships. If you go through, they've bought new machines, they've installed them in North America, they've created stronger relationships here in North America. They've joined the bit mining community here in North America. It's priced in to basically go out of business. I drew a green line here at $5. That has been support since the beginning of the run-up in Bitcoin back in November of 2020. So this has been a $5+ stock. They got all the way up to $32, got a short report rate here, and have been on a downward spiral ever since. They're right at this line of $5. I'm not putting any lines below that, because really the line below that is 0. I will tell you, I think it's hard to determine that all their numbers were totally accurate, but I don't see any evidence that they don't exist, which is what the short report said, and it's basically what the stock's being priced at. They are now about 1/10 the market cap of their peers, although those are stronger companies. They've made some massive changes at management level. They have a new chairman of the board. They have a new chief executive officer. The company has repositioned themselves to regain the trust and the confidence of the investor. This is a buy and hold for me. I look for a recovery very late this year, and if things pan out according to what they've said, there's potentially very big upside. It would be a 5 or 6x at this point for them to return back to the prices they were in January and February. I don't have a crystal ball. This is not financial advice. That's my thoughts on this stock. Please do me a favor, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. And thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.